Hey, Dr. Chad with Energy Physio. Trying to come up with some helpful mental frameworks for people to understand, what pain is, why you have it, really how do you use it to get rid of it, because it really is a valuable feedback loop in the body. And the truth is, most people are playing the game of pain under a couple of faulty assumptions that we see leading to a lot of problems over time. Okay, so Simon Sinek, great author, has a concept called the infinite game. And I think this is really helpful to understand when we're thinking about pain and life and health, where these pieces fall into place. And so just some basics, finite games have known players, known rules, and there is a winner and a loser. This is like sports, okay? Basketball. Like we know exactly who's playing. We know what the rules are, and everybody's playing by the same set of rules. And the person with the most team with the most points at the end of the game wins. An infinite game, on the other hand, there's known and unknown players. There are no clearly defined rules. There's a lot of things in flux. And the goal of the game is to stay in the game as long as possible. And so what we think of when we're viewing somebody who has pain, we're looking at their physical health in general, is that most people would classify health as an infinite game. Okay? And this is true. You don't achieve health. You might be healthy, but there's always opportunity to get more healthy or less healthy. There's a lot of game involved in even just maintaining your current level of health. And most people would classify that physical pain falls under the category of health, which is an infinite game. But most people play the game of pain as if it is a finite game, okay? And this creates a big discrepancy in how people choose what services they get, how they decide did the service work or not. What is the most valuable thing when we're looking to solve root causes of problems? People playing pain as a finite game is the biggest problem that leads down the pathway of not getting their problem solved completely. Because while we can say over here, we want to take this out, we want to put it over here with health. Okay, let's just get that super clear. Symptoms are a finite game. Okay? You can make your symptoms go away. And if you consider that the success, my symptoms are gone, then yes, that is a win. Mark your win in the column. But if you did not solve the root cause, okay, this is just going to keep ending up over here for you. So what we want to do is give you some mental structure around what is pain, why do you have it, and how do you need to be playing this game? Because even in the infinite game, where there are a lot of unknowns and the goal is just to stay in the game, there are clear targets and boundaries that drive the game forwards, okay? So here's the game. And we're just going to call this game life, okay? And inside your life, you might have all types of things that you're doing, different players that you're going to play against at different times in your life. This could be a sport that you're playing. Okay. Now we're not talking about the sport itself in the game of the sport. We're talking about you against the sport. Okay, you against hiking, you against long traveling, you against your diet and your nutrition, you against your sleep quality. Okay, all these things are mini games that have wins and losses inside the game of life, which the goal is stay in the game as long as possible. Okay, so when we're thinking about your body and your physical health, this is how I want you to conceptualize these things, okay? The rules and requirements are, for whatever task you're doing, how much functional mobility does it require, okay? Mobility is the prerequisite for the task that you're doing, okay? Every task requires a certain amount of functional mobility. It also requires a certain amount of functional strength. Okay, these are all lumped into the concept of capacity. Okay, we're going to do another simple illustration on this here in just a minute. All right, but these are your rules and requirements. Okay, your limitations in functional mobility and strength create your boundaries, right? These are your four sides of your playing field. And what happens is when you go outside these boundaries, that's where you have the opportunity to create injury or pain, okay? So your referee of the game is pain, okay? You step out of the boundaries enough times, the referee is going to tell you about it. You are going beyond your capacity. You're doing things beyond your functional mobility. That is creating movement problems that are leading to stress in your body that create things like meniscus tears, rotator cuff tears, disc herniations, nerve root impingement. Pick your diagnosis, okay? Every diagnosis that we have seen in the clinic in the last 7 years, we can trace back to a lack of functional mobility and a lack of durability created through strength, okay? So this is you in here, and you're playing against your life, okay? This is your life and its requirements. Whatever tasks you have in your daily life require a certain amount of functional mobility and a certain amount of functional strength to do those injury-free. Now, the ref is paying. It's going to blow the whistle when you get outside the boundaries. You get outside of them more and more and more and more, you're eventually going to foul out, okay? And you're going to have something that sets you back and sets you out of the game for a period of time that you don't want to deal with. This is called injury, okay? But what we have found is that if we can improve functional mobility, you can start to expand the boundaries, okay? You have a lot more wiggle room of what you can do, how much you can do it, how often you can do it by allowing your body to access more freely available positions that don't add stress to your body. The other thing that we found is that when you increase your functional strength, okay, you can step out of bounds a whole lot more times without the referee noticing. It's like you're just getting away with stuff, okay? But when you add strength to the body, you add durability into the system, you can approach the boundaries of your limitations, even go past them a little bit, even do it more times than once and be okay about it because your body can tolerate the inefficiency so much better because you've got that buffer of strength there, that buffer of durability and resilience. And that brings up the second little illustration. You may have seen this before because we've drawn it before, but this is your life on a timeline. This is your life on the game board interacting with your limitations and your boundaries and how do we expand those. There are times where you might need to contract your boundaries to stay safe, but then through functional mobility and strength, you might be able to expand those boundaries, add more volume of activity or whatever the case may be. But your life on a timeline, this is what it looks like over time, where this game board is now here. Anything that you do in your life happens on this line. If you're a couch potato, this is it. Okay? If you're hiking Mount Everest, this is it. Okay? The line is whatever's included in your life. But what we have seen is that when you fail to make the choice to maintain functional mobility and increase your functional strength on purpose, okay, then we end up with this trajectory, okay? Your life's requirements are the same, but you're getting less mobile and you're getting weaker over time. You cannot get stronger by accident, and you cannot get stronger like what we're talking about here on purpose just by doing the activities, okay? Because these activities, these are skills, right? Here's our pyramid, another illustration for you. This is functional mobility, the foundation. Okay, next, functional strength. Okay, next, skill. This is any activity. Okay, this could be lifting weights, running, biking, hiking, sports. This is the stuff that's on your line, okay? And you cannot go backwards. You can't do the skill and assume that just because you're actively involved in the skill or the activity that it's increasing your strength or your mobility, because it's not, okay? Just because you're doing this doesn't mean you get to maintain this or this. You have to do these on purpose so that you can do this without setbacks, okay? So what we see is that you're getting weaker over time and less mobile, and this gap between the requirements that your life has and the actual capacity that you have. This is your injury potential. Okay? You're just making it really easy to stack up into some setback or pain or injury. Okay? On the other hand, what we see is that when people intentionally focus here and here, then they do this. Okay? They trend in this direction. In this gap, you have more capacity than your life requires, and this is your injury buffer. Okay? And this is why you can step out of bounds over and over again and the referee doesn't notice. But the other thing is, you know where the boundaries are. So it's obvious when you step over them and you know you did it because you have clear rules and you have clear boundaries. Okay? And this is why it's important to understand these things, because most people are trying to get rid of this and this, and it's like a game of pin the tail on the donkey. They're blindfold. They don't know the rules. They don't know where anything's at. They're just hoping to do something that makes this go away. They're just throwing it at the wall and hoping something sticks. Okay, but when you understand that your life has requirements, if you can identify those requirements and just understand what you need to do these things safely, now you're playing the game with your eyes wide open, clear boundaries, clear rules that drive the game forward so that you can stay in and understand when you step out of bounds, you know where those boundaries are. Because if you don't know where they are and you just keep going past them, you're going to have pain, something's going to hurt, you're going to get injured, whatever the case may be. So shift your mental framework from trying to just resolve your symptoms to understanding, okay, if I'm going to get rid of my pain in any meaningful way, we got to go for the root cause. And when we're looking at the root cause, that you have to understand the requirements of the game you're playing and how to change the boundaries over time and minimize the downside as you continue to stay in the game. Because remember, the goal of the game, the infinite game, is just stay in the game as long as possible. And just because you're in the game doesn't mean you're going to want to be if you don't have the functional mobility and strength to give you quality of life as the game continues, okay? So hope that's helpful for you to understand how to conceptualize pain and root cause and really what we're trying to do, which is give people a framework to operate in that allows them to, yes, minimize symptoms, solve their pain problem at the root cause, which looks much different than just trying to make a disc herniation go away or a nerve root impingement feel better, those types of things. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope it's helpful for you. If you got any questions, let me know. See you later.